Hello everyone. Today I will be drawing an eye, and this is a picture I found on Google. So first we're drawing 3 circles. So the first one being the eyeball, the second one being the iris, and the third one on the inside, this is the pupil. So these circles, I drew them lightly, and I recommend drawing them lightly because you will be going over them and you will be erasing some of the lines. So on the pupil, I'm shading it in, and there's a bit of a highlight at the top. Now I'm drawing the iris, just a darker line. So now I'm drawing lines from the pupil to the outside line of the iris. So these are like spokes, like on a bicycle. So just little lines. And look at your reference photo, and you will see some shading, you'll see some lines, you'll see darker spaces, lighter spaces. So look at your reference photo and draw in what you see. So now I'm doing some shading around the pupil. And now I'm going to draw the upper eyelid. So it's just going over the iris, and the bottom eyelid is just beneath the bottom of the iris. So you can see it looks like a lemon, and the tear duct is on the left and it's outside the pupil, only a small bit. Just like so. So now I'm drawing the top of the upper eyelid, so just where the crease meets the brow bone. Okay, so again, draw lightly, and don't worry, you can go over it again. Now I'm erasing some of the lines, the bottom of the eyeball and the outside of the eyeball, and the top of the eyeball. Don't worry about all the lines. And again, this is where light lines are very useful because you can erase them easily. So now I'm going over the bottom of the eyelid, just going over again, making it a tiny bit darker. And now I'm starting with the eyelashes. So I'm starting with the middle and down to the right of the eye. So the upper eyelashes, they are more clumped than the bottom eyelashes. They are longer to the outside, and some of them will be overlapping. And now on the inside of the eye, the eyelashes are actually shorter. And they will be coming down and up. So it's not just squiggly lines. there's actually some structure. So again, look at your reference photo and you'll see, or the photo you're copying. So now I'm just going over the eyelashes again. More eyelashes, make them pop out more, like so. So there you see the highlight of the pupil. Just erasing some bit and shading in again. So it looks a bit better. And on the iris also you will see some reflections of the eyelashes, and you can put them in. And don't forget to shade. Shading some of the iris. Like so. And so the outside of the pupil, it's actually a bit darker than the bottom of the iris. And just shade in the pupil more, make it darker. Now I'm just shading in tiny more at the bottom to make it darker. And we will start doing the eyelashes. So the bottom eyelashes, they actually will look a bit shorter and there'll be more gaps. They won't be as clumped as the ones on top. So they'll actually look a bit lighter. So I'm not sure if you're looking at your own eyeball or your own eye, sorry, or a reference photo, but usually the bottom eyelashes, there'll be bigger gaps and they'll actually seem lighter and shorter perhaps. So now I'm doing a little crease at the bottom of the eyelid, so make sure it's not too dark. Make sure you make it light. You don't want the eye looking too old. And now just going over the tear duct, just a little shading. So on the very inside of the tear duct, it's going to be a tiny bit more darker. So a bit of shading goes a long way, and it will make the picture pop, and it'll look more realistic. So now the actual white of the eyeball, it's never actually white. If you look at a reference photo or your own eye, it's never complete white. So there will be a little bit of shading needed, and that it actually will look more realistic this way also. So don't be afraid of doing some shading around the eye, and you can always erase if you do too much, as long as you don't do it too dark. So now, starting to do the eyebrow. So the eyebrow, you can do a little shading first if you want. Just make the basic shape. And the eyebrow, I will make just some strands of hair. And make sure you look at the reference photo. They're not all the same length. They're not all the same shape. They're not all going the same way. So make sure you try to make it realistic. So at the inside of the eye, they will look like they're spiking up, and in the middle they will look like they're going horizontal. And on the outside, some of them will be curved, some of them will be going straight down. So look at your reference photo and you will see the directions of the eyebrows or the eyebrow hair. I'm just erasing some bit. I'm going over it again. Don't be afraid of erasing. So I'm just making it a bit darker. Just going over again. Just making it stand out more. And you'll notice also at some of the strands of hair on the eyebrow, it will look like some are just coming out from the skin. So just look closely and try to imitate this. And again, don't be afraid of shading. Going over some lines. Again, for final touches, just some shading. So just going over again, making it darker, and it'll actually go a long way. So if the eye doesn't come up properly, don't worry, just practice and you will eventually get it.